Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to a new coloring adventure with CLAldridgeArt. Actually, this is a coloring review, or a review of the adventures of CLAldridgeArt over the last year. When I looked just now, and I made my first experimental video on September 1st of 2018. It was a little one that I did with my phone. And at the end of that year, I didn't have enough coloring done to really warrant a, everything that I've ever colored video. And this year, that is no longer true. So I thought that I would bring you a video of my coloring work here on the channel over the last year, both in my books and in the books of others that I have chosen to color in, usually featuring them for Guest Artist Sunday. So, grab a cup of coffee and sit right back and have a look-see at what we've done over the last year. Okay, so getting started, and in no particular order, I thought that I would just go through by the various books, and don't worry, there really aren't that many, but and I don't I can't put them in actual coloring order because I don't really remember what order I colored them in, but this is one of the very first that I did color, and I colored this with Derwent Inktense. This is all Inktense, and this was a study in how to recover from a poorly laid down background. I think the background is Neocolors, and the foreground, actually, this is not Inktense. The background is Neocolors, and the foreground is watercolor markers, or water-based markers. That's it, water-based markers. So, you don't have to have fancy coloring tools. This was just a $9.99 set of water-based markers that I did this one. This is page 1. Obviously, the backside is not the most beautiful. This was page 2. I've always considered this page an epic sort of fail, but there it is. And in case you're wondering why this part is shiny, I used the glitter paint that comes in bottles and put it on there, the extreme glitter, just trying to save it. And again, this is water-based markers. Another water-based marker, blinged that out with a little bit of gel pen. I thought this was a pretty page, even though it's not really colors that I would put together. And I used dots instead of coloring it, These were, this is decoration as opposed to blending of colors, that kind of thing. And this was my first Inktense. This was the first one that I did that actually was 100% Inktense. And I think I did a 4-part series on this. I think it's very pretty. Okay, so that's those. This is a whip, and I'm doing this with Prismacolor Pencils. And that's why it's still a whip, because pencils take a long time. And but all of these I've worked on stream or in a video somewhere. This is really the drawing. This was the very first drawing that I ever made and offered to people. It was a freebie in my on my artist page on Facebook. There's links below to that, and this is the page that sort of started CLAldridgeArt, and I recolored it after 2016 to now, So that is one of the ones that I did this year. Okay, I think that's it for Flowers and Dreams. So that one, then comes Flower Inspirations, which is my next book. I published that in 2016, but I didn't color any of those until this year. Okay, this is Flower Inspirations. I did this one once again with just CaliArt water-based markers, and I just think it's so pretty. I just wanted to show everybody that you could color, just straight color, with your water-based markers and get a really pretty result, even if you're the artist who drew it. Once again, this is, I believe, this is either Inktense or it might be Neocolors. It might be either. I'm not quite certain. Yeah, Derwent Inktense and CaliArt glitter paint. So I wrote it down. And I colored this August 8th, the 1st through the 3rd. And, okay. So this is 2019. And I used the CaliArt glitter paints in gold. And I think it turned out really well. I really like this one. And this one, I think I might have colored this off the air, but these are my parrot bees. And I was testing out this, once again, the extreme glitter paint that you can get at Walmart, and this one is the hologram. I think it's made by CaliArt. And this is the one that I did that was like marquetry. I did this with the, I want to say I did this with the Black Widow pencils, but it might have been the Deli Starjoys, a budget-friendly brand of pencils. And then I did the back, the leathery part, because I wanted it to look like a leather tabletop. And I did that with acrylic paint. Once again, this was I think it was called Sequin. That was it, Sequin. It was another CaliArt, Sequin Black, which just meant that it was a nice glossy finish. Doing a little color testing on both of those pages. So that's the first two. Then there's Flowers and Flyers. Now, these are ones that I did on stream for you guys, generally live streams. And this is the painted bunting. And we did this in, I believe that I used Inktense and glitter gel pen. So I'm pretty sure this was all just Inktense and gel pen, but there might have been a little bit of, no, I don't think there's any marker in this one. I think it's all Inktense and gel pen. And I'm saving that one till last because it is the most recent thing that I did. But it is a version of these cardinals. This is the Baltimore Oriole that I did also in Inktense. I just think this is a really pretty one as well. This is the Bohemian Goldwing, also Inktense. And I love the way the gemstones in this turned out. I used white Uniball gel pen for adding the shiny highlights to this. I don't think there's anything else in this. I did also add some embellishments to the corner flowers with the white gel pen. This is the Scarlet Tanager in the strawberries, and I did this one with Kohinoor Tritones colored pencils. And look at how beautifully they did. I mean, there's 3 that I used. I used the red ones for the brick. I used the ones that were brown, the dark browns for this table, and the tiger, I think is what it's called, for the basket. I also did the flowers back here in the Kohinoor. I think that one was the flame pencil. And then I did the leaves with both the dark and the light green tritones. So this one was a lot of fun to do because the tritones just made it so easy. This is 100%, well, actually, that's not true. The inside is Derwent Inktense. The outside frame is just water-based CaliArt markers. So $10 markers and Derwent Inktense. And then I added a little bit of bling with the Pentel dual metallic gel pens. Dual metallic glitter gel pens. Okay, and that does it for this book. I don't know where that goes. Maybe it goes there. All right, then there's my book, Flowers and Whimsy. Now, all of these books, by the way, are available in print or PDF. They're in print at Amazon worldwide, any location. They are at Amazon or at Etsy in PDF form. In my Etsy shop, there are links for all of this below. Okay, so Flowers and Whimsy was my 4th book. Now, I released this, I believe, in 2016, late in the year. So I'm pretty sure in my first year, I put out 4 books. And this is one that I colored this year for all of y'all. I believe I did this on stream. This is done primarily with pencils and then just a little bit of Neocolor for the water. Additionally, I did add a little bit of bling to the butterfly with the glitter gel pens. Love those glitter gel pens. Love the way that these, both of the orbs, the glass orbs, turned out. I just think this is a really pretty color palette as well. Sometimes they don't always work out. This is one, I don't think I colored this on stream or even on air. I think I did this one in my own time, but this is, and I also did it on a sheet of my shiny drawing paper, which was a mistake, trust me. To try and get any kind of color vibrancy out of pencils on shiny paper is hard. But overall, I like the way it turned out. So it took a long time because it's 100% colored pencils, and getting the background smooth like that with the cobalt, I think I used almost the entire cobalt out of my Prismacolor set. All right, and then there was this one that I did with, I believe I did this 100% with Neocolors. And I really liked the way it turned out. And then I used some white gel pen. I didn't like it at the time, but I like it better now. So, and then this is one that we did with just, we just sat down one afternoon with the inexpensive CaliArt markers and a white Signo gel pen and did this. And didn't it turn out pretty? Once again, you don't have to have expensive supplies. You just need good art and an imagination. And you can color something completely unique. And this was an epic fail. We won't talk about that. That, unfortunately, I did stream. Not my best work. And then this is my rendering of a particular coloring by my friend and cover artist, or cover colorist artist. Hello. My art, her coloring on the cover of my book, Virginia Sanders. These were her colors. I vibranced them up a little bit with just doing it with regular, once again, water-based markers. Now, a lot of this coloring was done before I had anything other than the water-based markers. But I also always, one of the things I like to bring to you guys is that you don't have to spend a fortune on your coloring supplies. That is always what I want to convey. You can, but you don't have to. Okay, so there is the first 4. Next came Flowers of Fantasy, which I released in, I believe, 2017. Yes. But I colored in this year for you guys. This was one that I did. This was an exercise that we did in a limited color palette, just holding it to 3 colors, yellow, green, and blue. And then I blinged it up just a little bit with some of the Zeyer, Zeyer, acrylic gel, or acrylic paint pens, acrylic glitter paint pens. And I think it turned out really pretty. With this with markers. I believe this was the CaliArt. Yes, this was the CaliArt Markers. CaliArt Markers, July 25th, 2019. 3-color palette, number 1. Then came this one, which I think I had done just as an experiment before. And this one was with not the CaliArts, but with the just the water-based markers, I think. This might have been the CaliArts, though. This one, which, I don't know, I like it and I don't like it. I like the gemstone work that I did on it. And I like the different elements. I'm just not certain that they all go together the way that I wanted them to. But it is kind of pretty. I mean, I have to admit. It is kind of pretty. Now, I did use pencil for the background because I wanted the background to be really light. And, of course, markers are so intense. So I used colored pencils for the background. This was one that I just did one night as I was sitting here watching television. And this is my Lord Byron poem. I put a few of these into this particular book, poetry, and people have loved it. This one is my favorite poem by Emily Dickinson. I haven't colored that one yet. So I didn't do very many in this one this year. I'll have to do some more in it. It's an awfully pretty book. And I think that I didn't do a lot in it because so many others were doing it. This book was being widely colored by a lot of channels, and I really appreciate that. I know that Sandy over at Color Creatively had done a pastel of the two baskets, and she actually framed them and put them up in the wall in her studio. I was so honored. And then Flowers of Wonder, which is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Technically, it is the 7th book because there's a travel version, travel size book that I put out as well. But this is one that I worked on. This is Neo Colors, and it is a whip. It's technically a whip. It's nowhere near done. But this was one that I printed out on cardstock. And this was one that we did. It's really rough. This was, we were experimenting with the Daniel Smith watercolor ground. Excuse me. Comes in a jar, and it's called, well, actually, there it is, right there. On the shelf behind me. Daniel Smith Transparent Watercolor Ground. And what we wanted to see with this is if we could get water-based markers, i.e. the cheapo leisure arts, to act like watercolors if we first put watercolor ground. And the answer is yes. The answer is absolute yes. We did all of this blending with the markers directly on the paper. So that was kind of cool. It does add a texture to your paper. And of course, anytime you start adding water to paper, you're going to get it crinkling. But that was really cool. We did some really cool experiments in 2019. And that was one of them. Okay, I'm going to leave off my books for just 1 second and look at some of the coloring work that I did in other people's books. So these, I do a feature called Guest Artist Sunday, and this got a little messed up down here, so pay no attention to that. But this was, I used the Pretty Excellent watercolors. So this is 100% watercolored, and I did this in July. And this is Christina McAllister's book, Goddess Nature, book 1. It's book 1 in a series that she did. And I was kind enough to receive this one as a gift, not from Christina, but from a subscriber to my channel. And it was on my wish list. And then I embellished the heck out of it with the Pentel glitter gel pens. And isn't it pretty? This got a lot of attention on my Instagram when I posted it there. And I just love the way that the watercolors fill in on the grayscale and really allowed me to experiment a lot with the, with using the gel pen to make it really pretty. So I think that's the only thing I've done in that book. Then this is Christina's other book. She's got several series out, but this is book 1 in the Magical Beauties series. And I started this one. I was using colored pencils, and I'm happy with the way it's turning out. It is, of course, still a whip, and I like the way that I've been able to get some transparency to see the details behind, making this look like it's sort of diaphanous. But this is, working in colored pencils, it is very, very time consuming. So that is a whip, and it is only as far as I've gotten with it, is that. Then in Dragon Life, we started to do, I was going to do one, and this was the week that the internet failed, and I was not able to actually get on, and so I sat here and I colored just the little dragon here at the intro, and I really love the way he turned out. My goal when I had him, when I was thinking about him, was it's hard to be fierce when you're pink. So that's the only one I did in there. I did one in Creative Haven, and I used the Koh-i-Noors on this for the tree, the grass, the hillsides, all of the leaves, the Koh-i-Noor tritone pencils, and then I also used them on the I used the blues for the dragon, and the I don't remember which one it is, but there's one that I think it's called Fiesta or one of those, but it's got these beautiful blue greens in it. And then I put a coat of blue glitter, and all I did is I used that Elmer's glitter glue, and I just put it on a dish and mixed it with a little water, and then painted it on like it was watercolor. And I love the way that it added sparkle to the whole dragon. Anyway, that was fun. I did that July of I was busy in July. Wow. Okay, and this I did. This was my the very first time that I used CaliArt markers, and I had never used the CaliArts before. Up to that point, I had only ever used water-based markers, and I think if you're going to do it that way, because if you can learn to use water-based markers to set color out, actually blending it, that you learn a lot. So looks like I even picked out all of the face tattoos in the glitter gel pen as well. Always with the those Pentel markers. I love those. Okay, then I worked in Dennis Preston's The Best of Adult Coloring Books by Dennis Preston, or by Preston. And I did two. This was the first one. And we did this in, I believe I did this in watercolors. Yeah, I did. I did this. I'm pretty sure I did this in the Pretty Excellent watercolors, and I tried to do it in the same colors that they had used on the cover. So that was cool. Little twisted art there. And this I did with the Graphitints, the Derwent Graphitints, and which are sort of a mid-tone. They are literally water-soluble graphite. And so it's a little more interesting. I mean, it's a little trickier to work with them at the time. And I don't think I got it heavy enough here. But I like this sort of streaky, painterly background that it gave. And of course, that is just a weird image. And this is my favorite image in the book. And one day I will actually color that, but I haven't yet. Then I started, this is a whip in Equinox by Stephen Barnwell. And I started a little house. And once again, we're coloring this with colored pencils. So it is a little slower going. And, ooh, Wait for it. I did color this. I didn't color any of this on stream or on air. I only colored it in my own spare time. But this is my version of the dining room scene in book one. And everybody commented that all this stuff in the background looks like it belongs there. But I added all of that in, painstakingly drew it out, added it all in as I did the floor and all of that. So I was particularly proud of this. Once again, I did this all in my own time. Took months. It took months of just, sort of working on it. I got, you can't see it, but there's a lot of white acrylic paint where I had to make corrections on things that I did badly. Anyway, yeah, I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased with how that turned out. This I did on a guest artist Sunday. This is Tatiana Bogima and her art, and this is from her book Vintage Classics 1, I believe. It's either Vintage Classics 1 or Vintage Classics 2. It's got to be because I don't have Vintage Classics 3. But I love this. This also was CaliArt Markers. And then I did this really cool background with, I want to say maybe Neocolors. Probably it was Neocolors. I was trying to make it look like it was raining. And it's hard to tell, but I really love the way this turned out. So, and I based the colors on this loosely off of one that I saw Jackie Z on Facebook do it. This is Rob Roscom, and this is from his book, Botanica 2, I believe. I have, oh wait, there it is. No, Botanica 1. Line art from Botanica 1 by Rob Roscom. Used Distress inks for the background. Linen, photo, and mustard. And Derwent Inktense for the foliage and the berries. Colored January 27th, 2019. Okay. So, I did, he was my January guest artist. And then, more recently, at the end of, I believe, November, or the beginning of December, I did a Marty Woods. Marty Woods came out with a whole series of these gorgeous mandalas, and they are in his Etsy shop, and which is called Hello Marty Woods. And so I did this, and then used the glitter gel pens and the white for, it's just 3 colors, gold, red, and green. And then I didn't color this, but I'm going to show it to you anyway, because this is a page from my book Flowers and Flyers that was colored by Dee Dee Willingham. And Dee Dee colored it and sent it to me, and I need to get a frame for it. But isn't it absolutely stunning? That's, I look at that and I go, wow, that's so cool. I want to color like Dee Dee when I grow up. Additionally, I colored in my friend Sue Curry. Now, I am also her publisher, so I colored, a long time ago, I colored the outhouse out of this book. And as you can see, I just printed it on, that's all I had at the time, was just standard copy paper, and I colored that. And then more recently, I colored this one. And I believe that I used a combination of the CaliArt Markers and the Prismacolor Pencils on that. So I'm pretty sure that is the only one that I colored out of Living on Memory Lane. All of that was just this year on videos. That's so hard to believe. I started to color this. I think this one I've been working on. It's just a whip. It's my own, on my own time, but I did this one on stream, colored by February 24th. This is the book Off the Page by Sue Curry. So Sue was my February guest artist. And the previous Christmas, I believe I'd done that. So, but since I hadn't shown you guys any since I started my channel, this is the perfect opportunity. This drawing, by the way, is called The Pearl. I love it. Okay. Now, Sue also has these two books. Now, there seems to have been a bit of confusion. This is Sing, Color, and Praise the Lord, Volume 1, and Sing, Color, and Praise the Lord, Volume 2. So they are two separate books. Now, I don't believe that I have actually colored in that one. I did, however, color in this. I did this for Sunday for Thanksgiving. So I did this in November, and I'm sure that I was working with Inktense. I'm sure I was working with Inktense on this. So there is that one. I don't know that I colored anything in Christmas Lane this year. Okay, so that's that. Hang on, let me reverse this stack so I can get to the last couple. Okay. All right, now this is where this is kind of where I came into YouTube in a much bigger way. I was coloring, my book Fantasy Flower Garden has just been released, and it was released in, I believe, late 2018. So I was coloring from this book, as were a number of other people, all of that year, or all of 2019. So this is one that I did fairly recently. Now this is 100%. This is 100% water-based markers. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this, although it may be Inktense, it probably is Inktense, as opposed to water-based markers. Some of it is water-based markers, other parts of it are Inktense. But however you shake it out, I really like the way it turned out. It's, it's vibrant, it's in your face, but I like that kind of coloring. And then, of course, I just embellished the heck out of it with gold glitter gel pen. And I think that's the only one that I actually did in the book, but I did color an awful lot from it. This is a page from this book. Once again, Fantasy Flower Garden. So this is the mouse, and I made him looking up at a moon. And I colored this with Inktense. And then this is, I put the hologram, set it down, Christy. The hologram glitter paint. There you go. It's got a glare, but you can see it. On the snow, and then I used just tons and tons of the Zier. I'm pretty sure this is either the Zaire or the Pentel glitter gel. Dual, you know what I mean. The Pentel dual metallic glitter gel pens. There we go. This is the Mice on the Bridge, which I absolutely love. All my mice seem to be wanting to look up at full moons. With the white uniball stars and the stone bridge. I did that with the, I'm pretty sure I did that with, all of these are Inktense. If I remember correctly, this whole series is Inktense. So, yeah, there's that one. This one was, this is a work in progress actually still. And I think it's a combination of Inktense and something else. Inktense and pencils. And this one is all pencils. So this is my squirrel from the cover. And this is all the colored pencils. And I used the white calligraphy ink for the to add a little white to his tail. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all pencils. And this is 100% Inktense as well. So this one is another page from the book. Lots of clear gemstones, different colored flowers. I just think it's so pretty. And then I love the making it, this is the faux bling method of putting little dots, little white dots, and then little stars with your uniball gel pen. So I colored that one. And those were all from Fantasy Flower Garden. So you want this one? You want this book? Of course you want that book. Okay, so that was Fantasy Flower Garden. Then came Fabulous Flowers. This one actually was released also in 2018. So I must have released that in early 2018. This in late 2018, because all the rest are from 2019. So this was the cat that I did. Once again, I just did the version here on the title page, as I was probably doodling one night. This I did recently. This is the one that I'm toying with the idea of turning into a diamond painting. I just have to get brave enough to contact the diamond painting company and ask if they'd like to license it from me. This is a whip. We started this on a stream. So this is nowhere near done, but what I did is I based it all with CaliArt markers, and then I'm doing the detail work with colored pencils. So, you know, I think I'm going to start running into a fair number of whips. Okay, this one's actually finished. This is a colored pencil, 100% Prismacolor colored pencils. And this drawing was based on an old perfume model that I saw when I drew the design. And so I decided to color it in the same jewel tones that I originally saw the bottle in. This one is Tim Holtz. I used the Distress inks to do the pot and the background. And then I used Prismacolors, I believe. I might have used the Deli Starjoys, which are the budget polychromos type pencils for the flowers. And at least one or two of these I've used the Black Widows, but I can't remember exactly which ones. This is another one that we did that was a limited color palette, color along experiment. And we limited it to 3 colors: turquoise, pink, and silver. Turquoise, pink, and gray. Turquoise, pink, and green. It was turquoise, pink, and gray, and the green was a bonus color. That was it. Anyway, turned out really pretty. Is all. They're all the mandalas that are in the other books, because this is a best of book. So this is just a little page that I colored. We were experimenting with pastels. So that's the Mungyo pastels. This was a 3-color palette experiment. I like to do those because I am color palette challenged. And so to me it's important to keep the color palettes as simple as possible. But this one was the blue, the red, and the gold. And then the olivey green came in as a bonus color. So this one I think needs to be blinged out with some gold. What do you think? You think I should bling that out with some gold? Leave a comment. Then there's this one was done just with the water-based, the CaliArt water-based markers again. And I used a Tim Holtz background on it. Tim Holtz Distress Inks. And I just sort of spread it around and then dropped some white calligraphy ink on it. This was my first use of well, before I'd said that the horse was my first time I used CaliArt markers. This is actually where I used them first. But I wasn't on air. Or maybe I was, but I don't remember. This was my first foray into it, though. I didn't like the way that they blended, so I covered everything over with this design with the gold gel pen. And then I put a pink Distress Ink background on it. So that's all CaliArt markers. This is colored pencils. This, I believe, are Prismacolors. And of course I put the blue-green background on it. This was another 3-color palette. Blue, purple, and gold, with green being a bonus color. This was one that I did called Brown is a Color Too, and I wanted to show you that you could do a lot just using one color, one color family. So I literally started with the very lightest of the browns, which is the beigey color, and then other than just a little bit of gold, gold and yellow around in there, we did an entire piece on it. And I really like the way that turned out. And of course, I think the backs are almost as pretty. Obviously, that was CaliArt marker. That other is a whip. This was This was CaliArt Marker as well. Really love that. I really love the way this turned out. With the gold embellishments. We were just keeping it simple. Now on to the last two. I promise we're almost done. Although, I don't know, you may enjoy seeing all of the things. This is a whip we're working on. I think Derwent Inktense. This is 40 Fan Favorites. Now, this is the compilation book, which I put out for people. It's a sampler of my first 8 books. And so it has 5 images from each of the first 8 books in it. This is one that we did. Once again, this is just simple watercolor marking. It's either watercolor or CaliArt. I don't remember which. It's CaliArt. And you can tell because, of course, alcohol markers bleed while water-based markers generally don't. And then I just used, oh, I know what it is. This is the one where I used my, I handmade glitter watercolor paint. And so I used that. And look at how pretty. Look at how pretty that paint is on there. And that's all water. I made my own watercolor glitter paint. And so that was the experiment that we did with that. This was a limited color palette experiment, color along, that we did, that was just in pink and green. And gold. Pink and green and gold. And this is colored pencils. All of it is the Deli Starjoy. I finished this in September of 2019. So this is the budget brand of pencils, my favorite budget brand, and they are down there in the description as well. This was a lot of fun. I offered this page for free for a limited time, and people colored along with me. This was another CaliArt straight coloring that we did, and then blinged it out with glitter gel pen. So as you can see, I love that method. This is from Fantasy Flower Garden with the mice. And I did this one in Inktense, and I used Graphic for the backgrounds. So I think it's very pretty. This one is Inktense with Graphic for the background as well. Oh, no. This one is Inktense with colored pencil for the background. Just a single colored pencil for the background. And I love this flower. I love the way this flower turned out with all those multicolors in it. Now, I found out that my friend gave, my friend who I mentioned in my last video, actually gave a copy of this to his daughter for Christmas. And she loved it. So that's just something about that just tickles the heck out of me. And this is the brand new book. Now, I did color a lot from this this year because, of course, most of you followed along as I was drawing all of the different drawings for it. So far, I've colored almost nothing in the book except this one, which I started and we never did finish. This I was doing for Christmas, And I'll just leave it a whip and maybe finish it up next Christmas. But these are the dragons from the book. And this one is the Moon Gazer dragon. And this is Derwent Inktense. And the background is actually that sequin paint again. So I painstakingly put the sequin paint in there. I love the way this turned out. And this is the ones from the cover. And the more I look at it, the more I've decided it's a whip. I thought I was done with the stonework, but I've decided that I want to add some more definition to it other than just the shading. So, but I also added a watercolor background. This is what you do in Dragon. And I used, what did I use on this? I think I used Inktense. I used a base of Inktense. And then I embellished the heck out of it with white glitter gel pen. Or white gel pen. And the Zier glitter. And what else? I don't remember what I used. It's very smooth, whatever it is, and it didn't bleed through. I can't remember what I used. Must have been watercolor. Must have been watercolor. Okay. And this is Spica, which was the one that started it all off. And I did her in pink. This is all colored pencils. And glitter gel pen. This is Black Widow pencils. Okay, so this is where I use my Black Widow pencils. Oh. When did I do that? January 21st to 26th. Okay. And this is a work in progress. This is the Creatures of Age and Wisdom. Another work in progress. This is the Honeybees. And as you can see, I based it with CaliArt Markers. And then I'm going over it with and doing definition on the flowers with the Prismacolor Pencils. This was just a little whip that I started using the Jane Davenport pastels, pan pastels. This is a whip that will never be finished because it's horrible. And this is a whip that may be finished because it's not horrible. But it's also from this book. The drawing itself is beautiful, but what I was trying to do was, we were doing it at Christmas, and I was going to add Christmas lights. And yeah, that was a poor idea. Now, I will show you this. This is from the Flowers and Flyers. And this I just finished. What I did is I took my, this is watercolor, and I did it on a piece of watercolor paper. And the reason why it's tucked in this little piece of paper is I've had it, it's in a stack of books to just keep it from curling up on itself ever. But yeah, I did this with with just pretty excellent watercolors. That's what it's called, pretty excellent, and then watercolors. So I really like the way it turned out. I did the cardinals with Arteza Real Brush Pen watercolors, watercolor brush pens. But the background I did with the Pretty Excellent. And so I hope that you've enjoyed this look at a year of adventure in coloring here at CLAldridgeArt, and that if you are new to my channel and you've liked what you've seen, that you will consider subscribing and joining me for 2020 for a new year of coloring adventures with CLAldridgeArt. I can pretty well guarantee there will be a new book, there will be new drawings to color, there will be more experimenting, and many, many adventures to go on. So I wish each and every one of you a very happy and safe New Year's Eve. Enjoy your celebrations, and exercise some common sense and be safe. For those of us, most of us, who are just going to be here with our selves and our cats and maybe a few members of our family who don't really go out and celebrate and party hardy. I know that there are a number of streamathons. Among them is the Crafters Streamathon. So if you want more information on that, I'm sure that you can tune into Dee Dee Willingham's channel. I know that she will be going live in about, I want to say about 10 minutes or so, at 8 a.m. on New Year's Eve day. I believe it's today. And I know that Mary Adelier is live right now. So, until we meet again in the new year, please, everybody, color something pretty. CLAldridgeArt saying bye. See you next year.